Hey guys, this is Byte coming back at you with Cheat the Game. Today I'm taking a look at Watch Dogs, but we're going to be talking about direct byte manipulation. I did receive a lot of questions in regards to, well, can you mod like PS4 games, things like that? Well, I used to mod PS3 games all the time. I kind of abandoned the consoles and went mostly with PC games now. But I was telling a couple of people that, yeah, if you have a third-party software, and I used the Game Genie when I did it, it gave you a direct memory view and byte structure of the save file itself. So it was a lot of back and forth, because you had to go change the value on your PS3, save the game, come back over to your computer, and bring up the memory view again, rescan the values for the changed value, and so on and so forth, just like you do here on the PC. And once you find it, you can direct byte manipulate it, save your game, and then go and play it with the modded file. But for Watch Dogs here, I'm going to be using called direct byte manipulation. We've been talking about array of bytes and code injection, and everything we've been doing is an injection, which means we're not really changing the program, we're just bypassing the program, in which we allocate new memory. It goes somewhere in memory where nothing else is happening. It puts our cheat down, so when it gets to that point in the game, like you expend a bullet and then it's got a decreased value, and when we get to that subtract value in memory view, we have it jump to our code where it doesn't subtract, and then jump back to the main program and continue on where it left off. So, and that's what a code injection is. You're injecting code into the game that's beyond the programming. But here we're going to be talking about direct byte manipulation, which is not an injection. We are just changing the programming, period. And I'm going to show you how to do that, so stick with me. Now I'm just going to be looking at something easy. I really don't want to get into byte manipulation in regards to shared codes or anything like that, like health. You know how your enemies are all going through the same operation funnels that you're going through or anything. I'm just talking about something that only one thing uses, like ammunition, and we're just going to do something easy, but it's a real good starting point to get you introduced to this, because it can be a valuable tool later, and it's something that you can expand upon, and we will be expanding upon things too. So but it's always good to start out with this. But you know where we always start. We always start, no matter what cheat you're looking for, you have to find the value. You have to find the place in memory it's being stored. First and foremost, that's what we're going to be doing. So let's get to it and go find our ammo code. So let me get somewhere where I ain't gonna have police chasing me. You start firing off a gun and people go crazy. Maybe I need to go back to the that's probably a better idea. Maybe if I go back to, I think I'm in the middle of a mission here that may not let me. Ah, crap. Yeah, I'm in a mission. Well, let's just see what happens. I'm going to take out my gun. And you see here we got 10. So let's go ahead and put in 10. I believe that it is exact value and 4 byte. So I'm going to put it on 4 byte. That would help if I attach the game. As you notice, I do this all the time. Alright, here we go. Let me clear this list. I don't want to confuse anybody. That's the codes I got for it already. Yes, I'm sure I want to clear the list. That's why I say clear list. First scan it, and we're going to come up with a ton of values. So let's go ahead and expend a bullet. 9. It shouldn't take very long to find it this way if it's exact value. It's not encrypted or anything, so that's good. Spend another one. We're down to 8. And you see we got a ton of 8s. Let's see if we can spend another one and maybe weed out a few. And you see here that the middles are our display codes and internal code. And usually your internal code is the oddball. It's what I've noticed. Usually an oddball type one will be it, but you know, we really don't know until we go manipulate it. So let's just manipulate one at a time until we find the one that's being affected. Let's move that over so we can take a look at it. And the internal code will change the display codes. And look at that. You see that some display codes are changing, so let's see what happens. Okay, it stayed at 7, so let's go ahead and put that at 10 and see if that affects it directly. So when I shoot it should turn to 9. Yep, that's it. Okay. So we did find our internal code, and if you noticed here, this the really oddball one. And usually when you're trying to find internal code, it ain't always like that, but a lot of times it will be. When you get a bunch of display codes, you'll see this one little oddball just sticking out. I'd usually try the oddball one sticking out first, because usually about 80% of the time that would be the internal code, but it's not always the case. So, and the internal codes are what we want, because messing with display codes does absolutely nothing. So let's find what's writing to this address. We're going to place a breakpoint on write, or you can hotkey F6 and bring the debugger up. And I have had a lot of questions of what happens when you bring this up and it's crashing the game. Well, it's probably some kind of integrity check going on in the game. So what I recommend that you do, let me bring up a new cheat engine. If it's crashing on one scenario with the debugger, I need you to go to edit and settings, and then what you want to do is go here to debugger options and make sure that you use VEH debugger. If it is set on that and it's crashing, then go to use Windows debugger and tick this box here, try to prevent detection of bugger. Usually if one doesn't work, usually the other will, so you may have to alternate. If it is crashing when you're trying to bring up what writes to this address, or dissect data is crashing on you, try using the other debugger option. Most of the time that fixes the problem. But getting back to this, let's go ahead and I could have swore I brought up that screen. Did I close it down? Let me just redo it. Alright, we're going to find out what writes to the address. We're going to expend another bullet, and there we go. You see here that we have what's writing to that address is a decrement. And what a decrement is, when you use DEC, it just always decreases by 1. Okay? Unless that decrease is defined some other way, but decrease is usually just taking away 1. So every time we expend the bullet, it's just taking 1 away from our value. We can see here that our ammo is located in the registry of RDI, and it is at the offset of 98. So we're dealing with big registry here because we're dealing with R registries. Those are bigger registries for bigger games. So let's go ahead and show disassembler. We want to take a look at that. We don't need this anymore. And we want to just take a look and see what's going on with it. So the way we do direct byte manipulation is we try to take a look at what's going on in the programming. I know a lot of this stuff is mishmash and you don't understand it, and that just comes later, and it comes with experience when you get to looking at these things. But if we go above it here, we see that there's a couple of times this decrement is being bypassed. You see we got 2 conditional jumps, and we got a comparison up here. Well, we've already learned comparisons several times over. What do we do when we're comparing something? That means we want it to do something else if it doesn't meet that condition. We always, anytime we use a compare, we're comparing something because we want something different to happen if it's not equal. So let's see what's happening here. It's comparing something at 9C. I don't know what that is, because we know our ammo is 9.8, but I don't know what that is. I don't need to know what that is. But it's comparing 0 at that shelf location. And it's saying in the next one, if it's not equal, I want you to jump all the way down here to this address. Jump if not equal to 7B38DC. You see over here in the address, jump to 7B38DC. So if it's not equal, it's bypassing our decrement. Well, I think we can just kind of educatedly guess that if our ammunition somehow, some way that these are affecting our ammunition, could be a display code, I don't know, but if our ammunition is 0 in some respective term, there's no sense in decreasing it anymore. It's just going to go into the negatives if you keep decreasing it. So it says if it's 0, jump over it. That'd be my guess. But what would happen What would happen if we changed this to always jump over it, regardless if that's 0 or not? Well, in essence, that should freeze our ammo, because it will never be decreasing it. It will always be jumping. So what we have here is we have a conditional jump. It's going to jump if not equal, and we want to change it to an unconditional jump. So we go from conditional to unconditional. And how do we do that? We just remove that J and E and place just a regular jump, where it'll just jump all the time. So we want to test that out, and how you do that is this way. Double click the address, or the opcode, excuse me, and you see here it's brought up here in the single line assembler. It says jump if not equal to this address. Well, this is the address it's going to jump to. Right down here, you see it even points it to us. The tools in Cheat Engine are great. But let's just change it directly to an unconditional jump. That means it just jumps every single time. We do that with JMP, which is just short for jump. Jump no matter what. So let's just change it and test it. So we're going to click OK, and you see here it's changed to a jump. Now let's go back and shoot a bullet and see what happens. Alright, we got 8 right now, and if that worked, it should stay at 8. Look at that. So we know that all we really need to do to have infinite ammo is to change that jump if not equal to a jump. But how do we do that? Well, here's where direct byte manipulation comes into play. Now, I've told you this before, and I'm going to show you. The game's not reading all this up here. It's reading all this stuff down here. This is what the computer and the game and Cheat Engine, this is what everything's actually reading, is all these bytes. Everything is assigned a byte. Let's go to this place in memory view. We're going to click on go to address. It's going to bring up where we are right now. J and E is this address. Jump if not equal. This location is that address. Just copy it. Then go down here, right click on it, go to address, and just paste it in there, and it's going to carry us to that opcode. You see? Everything in here is assigned a value. You see our array of bytes are starting here. That's what the array of bytes are doing. That's what's being read by the computer, just these bytes. Everything is assigned a specific byte in memory. Now we'll get into talking about later how it's actually reading, because if you notice, it reads things backwards. So if you have like you change the value to 9999, and in hex value 4 nines is 27OF. Well, down here it would be something like OF27. It reads it backwards. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's reading from right to left. But everything, even the commands, are assigned a value. If you notice here, well, what's J and E assigned? Well, right here it's assigned the byte 75. So when the computer reads 75, it's going to jump if not equal. That command is byte 75. So we need to change that byte to a jump. Well, what does it recognize a jump being? Well, I don't know. Let's see what it recognizes it as. Just change it again, and then take a look at the byte. You can take a look at it up here and down here. EB. For this string of code, it's recognizing jump as EB. So what we need to do is we just need to change that one byte in the program from 75 to EB. And it will be a jump. And it'll jump over our decreasing of our ammo. I know it's a little confusing. I get that, and especially for you newer guys that's joined me, I know it is. And I'm going to place also, I'm going to put Sneaky Mofo's Cheat Engine tutorial series, which starts at the very core basics of game hacking, and just he just shows you everything, teaches you everything. He is one of my best friends. He's also a mentor of mine, and his name is Steven. He goes by Sneaky Mofo, one of the best teachers around, and I'm going to link you over to his site also to take a look at some of his, so you can catch up to where we are now, because I keep building on each thing that I teach, and this is another step. So if you started at the top step here, things might go over your head a little bit, but maybe not. I mean, this is not rocket science. You can probably pick this up pretty quickly. So what we're going to do to manipulate these bytes is we are going to use our template in auto assembly. We click on tools, auto assemble. While I'm thinking about it, let me save this so I don't lose anything, and I'll be right back with you. I'm back. Didn't even notice I was gone for about 30 minutes, did you? Alright, so what we're going to do, continuing on here, is we're going to go ahead to our templates, and we are going to go with AOB injection. That's array of byte injection. Just click OK, and we're going to go ahead and name that MO1. Click OK, and we get our template up. And here's where everything changes. We're not going to be injecting code, so we're not going to be allocating any memory. We are going to use an AOB scan module because we do want it to scan for these array of bytes, and these array of bytes are located in this module right here, the ones we want to use, and we're going to go ahead and name that first byte MO1. Okay? We don't need any labels, we don't need any code structure, we don't need any of that, because we're just going to affect the code directly. We're just going to affect that one byte that we named MO1 directly. And we're going to delete that, and we're going to delete all this crap. Now we do need to go ahead and register a symbol. We do need to tell the computer that we want to use that MO1 for that byte structure. Okay, so register your symbol and go ahead and take out deallocate memory. We're not going to use any of that. We're just going to use this right here. Okay, so let's go down here and let's just go ahead and make our label MO1 and use a colon, just like that. So what do we want to do? Well, we know it's going to start here. It's recognizing that byte as MO1. Well, we know what that byte is already. It's that jump if not equal that we just went over. It's starting there. Now let's say that we had to make a more unique byte out of it, because it needs to be a unique signature. We need to make it a more unique signature, and we're not actually going to do this, but I just wanted to show you anyway. So let's say we had to tack on some extra bytes like in front of it. So we go up to the next line and we see we have 00 all the way over to 9C. Let's say we had to use all that string right there. I'm going to copy that and add to it to make it more unique so it could find it. And that's when you go to this array of bytes scan over here in Cheat Engine. You'll see array of bytes in the value type right here, and it needs a unique signature. And if it brings up more than one address, you need to make it more unique by adding on bytes either to the end or to the beginning. It doesn't matter. But let's say we had to add on some to the beginning to make it more unique. Well, now it's no longer starting on our 75. Let me separate that, make sure they're separated by space. And now it's no longer starting on our 75, so guess what it's recognizing as MO1 now. It's not recognizing that 75 anymore as MO1. It's recognizing that 9C as MO1. You understand what I'm saying? So now, if I don't do anything here and I just went ahead and defined a new byte, it's going to change this one. So, but we don't want to do that. We want to change that one. So what I have to do is tell Cheat Engine, no, I need that one changed. So I have to count. So we start here. That'll always be 0. This will be, and you count in hex, not decimal. Okay, so if you get up to number 10, you're going to go with A, B, C, D, E. You count in hex this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is the exact same as decimal. But as soon as you hit 10, you go A, B, C, D, E, F. Then you go 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, on up from there. You get what I'm saying? And that's what you have to do here. So you count in hex to the byte we need manipulated. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I need it to affect that byte, so it will be plus 8, and that way it will affect that byte instead. Just in case you have to do that for future reference, even in your array of byte injection, that's just something you need to know. This is in hex. That's very important. So if that went on like 3 more bytes, let's say I was trying to affect this byte instead, then I'd have to count 9, then A. I want to affect that byte, I'd have to tell it, okay, I need it affecting that byte A. I can't put 10, because 10 in hex is not actually 10. I think it's like 16. I think. I'm not sure. But you get what I'm saying, okay? But we're not actually going to do that. We do have a unique array already, and it does recognize that. And it will begin with that byte, okay? But I just wanted to throw that out there. Now let's go back and just see right quick. What did we need this to be? It's 75. It's reading as a jump if not equal. That's what 75 means to this game, is jump if not equal. We need it to recognize it as a jump unconditionally. So let's see what byte that was again. That was EB. So instead of being 75, I need that to be EB. So what I do is I give the command to define the byte. Define byte, which is D as in Delta, B as in Bravo, DB. Define byte EB. And we don't need it to change anything up here when we disable, except that one code. It's already recognizing that as MO1, so when it sees MO1, it only is going to affect MO1. So when we turn it back off, we're just going to change that back to a jump if not equal. So that's a jump if not equal. Simple as that. Let's go back and change that to its original. Click OK. And let's go ahead and assign this to the current cheat table. We can close that down. So, in essence, instead of jumping to an unallocated spot in memory, or to a newly allocated spot in memory, it should just change that jump if not equal to our defined byte EB to a jump. So let's turn on our code and let's just see what happens. Okay, we're going to turn it on. Look at that. It changed EB and it changed it to a jump. If we turn it back off, will it change it back? Look at that. Changed it back to 75 down here, and 75 right here to a jump if not equal. So that's with it off. With it off, it takes away. When we turn it on, it changes that to a jump, an unconditional jump where it bypasses the decrease, and we now have infinite ammo. And that's it, fellas. And that's to kind of get your feet wet into direct byte manipulation. And like I said, if this was a PS3 game, I would just save to the save file and go stick it back into the PlayStation 3, and I'd have infinite ammo because it's going to be recognizing that as a jump. So, but you know, for PC games, you can do that as well. And like I say, this is to get you started off small with unshared codes. We'll talk more about this and we'll expand on this in the future, but I wanted to get your feet wet with this. I know it's getting a little more advanced and you're getting to understand more of how, and this is what I really wanted you to learn, is how the computer is actually reading the game. It's actually reading this stuff down here, and that's what we manipulate. Even with an injection, we're sending it somewhere else and it converts everything we write to byte values, and that's how it reads it, that's how it understands it, and that's what it's going to perform, and that's how you do it. So when you see other cheats and you're saying, what in the world is this, you know, when you go to the cheat engine website, and we've been learning, you know, to just directly put in the new value, like we want 99 ammunition or something. We know how we've been messing with the code in the past, but all we're seeing is this mess. Well, what in the world is this? Well, this is what they're doing. They're just direct directly affecting the code itself by changing the byte to make it perform a different function, or to give, and you can do it with values, you can do it with just about anything, but you need to know how the computer's going to read it and make sure everything's kosher. It's a little more tricky doing these things, especially for more complex coding, but this, you know, this works, and you start to understand more of what's going on in the game when it starts getting you really looking at what's happening with this code, what's going on before it, what's going on after. And when you start understanding a little better, and it just comes with experience, you'll understand more, and a whole new world opens up to you on how you can manipulate things. But that's it for right now. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to leave them down there or write me directly. I'm always happy to hear from you guys. I love hearing from you guys. Just let me know. And I'm having a real hard time with messages because I'm getting bombarded at the moment with them, but I try my best to get to each one. Forgive me if I can't get to you right away. And subscribers do get preferential treatment. So please subscribe, like if you can. I'd really appreciate it. If, like I say, if you need me for anything in this regard, don't hesitate to let me know. I will do my very best to help you. Well, you guys take care of yourself. Most importantly, please enjoy yourself. That's really what it's all about. Now, your single player games, you should be able to do what you want to with them. I do not encourage you to go online doing things like this. You're always taking a risk. 9 out of 10 times you're going to be caught, and if you keep doing it, you will be caught 100% of the time. You will get banned. So please think twice before doing stuff like that, and use these for your own gameplay, single player, and just enhance your performance and your gaming the way you want to play it. Okay, it's all about what you like and what's fun for you. I don't teach anything beyond that. Also, join me and my friends over at guidedhacking.com. That's guidedhacking.com. I'll put the link down there in the description also. A really great place with a cool bunch of people there. You'll really learn a lot there, which goes way beyond Cheat Engine. And from beginner type things all the way up to advanced. I mean, these guys really know their stuff. A great bunch of guys over there. So make sure to check them out over there. Links down in the description. You cheat the game, fellas, because believe me, they don't mind cheating you. You guys take care. Oh yeah, that works like a charm. It saves a lot of code writing too. Thank you. Bye.